Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Peace Fund Radio with Adrian Paul and Ethan Dettenmaier, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Good morning. World Cup fever. Oh my goodness, this has been quite a week. Quite a week, Ethan, don't you think? I mean, I've never seen a game like the one yesterday at all in my life.
Well, it's a record breaker of sorts. I don't know how great it was, to be honest with you. Although I'm pro Team Germany. I didn't. The games have been so good, been so dramatic, and so close in many ways, running into overtime and penalty kicks, and that's the aspect of World Cup soccer I love. This was a run of 4 goals in 6 minutes, absolutely unprecedented. A World Cup record breaker in terms of productivity, and and then disaster. And it looked like a funeral in the stands of Brazil.
Oh my goodness! I mean, I was sitting there with 2 Brazilian fans next to me, and they were like so excited at the beginning. And at first, Germany looked a little shaky. I thought, Brazil are going to be putting a little pressure on them. And all of a sudden, it just fell apart.
It was the absence of Thiago in the defense and the absence of the offensive player who has the spine industry was just unbelievable. And, the question you have is, is the depth, of the backups, is there that much of a difference where the German players are concerned to exploit? Because if you notice in the first 3 goals, right, the striking procedure was the same. They were able to collapse the defensive bubble, right? They would come down the right, then pass back to the middle, and I guess the Brazilians were gravitating to the right and forgetting to cover the middle.
Oh, the back four were awful. The back four were awful. They had no structure, no nothing.
Right.
I mean, the first goal came from a guy sitting on the inside the 6-yard box and just tapping it into the net, pretty much. It was awful. I felt so sorry for the Brazilian fans as well, because Brazil's a good team. I mean, they are a good team, but they look shaky, and I think. Well, psychologically, they were done before the beginning of the match.
I think I said it to you. I don't know if I said it on the air, but they looked shaky out of the gate against Croatia to me. Actually, they didn't look as done. I mean, there were some questions right with that performance, because the Croatians should not be taken to the Brazilians in the where soccer logic is concerned. But as you know, we've seen logic's out the window. Costa Rica, phenomenal, heroic performance.
Yes,
I thought Chile was entertaining. Colombia was entertaining. Ecuador was entertaining.
I thought the U.S. was entertaining too.
They were entertaining up until their last game. When they decided to become passengers.
That was another exactly. And it's really psychological. All these games, it's all psychological a lot of the time. I mean, the US actually, when they're like, oh, we might lose this, decides to start playing, and they almost beat them by doing that. I mean, it was unbelievable.
It's a crazy maker sport for sure, and it's just one of those things where the fans scream, because I think our mentality is the same. We've played a charity soccer game or two between us, and if you don't think you can match up in the long run, then you need to play total havoc with your opponent. You need to put them on some very unstable ground and just go at them full throttle.
Yeah, I know.
If you're going to lose, then that's it. Play like you have no goal.
Exactly.
And just go ramrod right through them and be like they don't know what they're on the field with.
Well, today is Argentina and the Netherlands. And who do you spot on this? I'd say the Netherlands. But it'll be tough. I think it's going to be tough. I saw the Netherlands play at the beginning. They looked really good. And then the last 2 games, they couldn't put much in the net.
I feel this way. I think it's going to be the Netherlands too, and I feel it's a difference between soccer technicians and soccer passionate players. I think Argentina plays with a lot of almost artistic passion.
Yeah, and they have Messi too. I mean, he is a magician,
And I really want to see the Netherlands. I think Netherlands-Germany is what you're going to get. And I actually think they're going to probably be the best matchup in the long haul. Right. But Argentina's full of surprises, and Argentina-Brazil will play Saturday most likely for third place.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be. Oh God, that's unbelievable. But the main match. I mean, it'll be tough for the final. I think Germany could do it. They do look impressive. They've looked impressive 4 years ago. They were a young team then. Anyway, we're talking about spread.
Speaking of it, though, let's conclude on these 2 notes. You can find us if you're a World Cup fan for the final on Sunday. Party hosted by Wakano, along with the Peace Fund group. Adrian Paul, the Combat Radio group, the Chivas cheerleaders, several of the celebrity regulars we work with. We're going to be doing some charity work Sunday. It's a private event. But you can contact us via the Combat Radio Facebook page and make a reservation, and we can put you in. If we can put you in, we want to put you in. If you're a cosplayer who's done charity work with us in the past and done some volunteer work with us, or any kind of volunteer on our charity efforts, you have a priority to get involved. So hopefully we'll see you there, and it'll probably be Germany and the Netherlands, in which case, you've got the, but I thought Argentina and Germany, weren't they allies during the Falkland War? And it was the old...
No, not the Falkland War.
Well, no, but because Argentina invaded the Falklands, but I think they were trained by a lot of the ex-Nazis that had run to Argentina. I'm being dead serious.
You're becoming political now.
No, I'm being totally serious, though. I do believe that armed forces circa 1970, 1980s was trained by a lot of the... Anyway,
it could well have been.
That's another radio show, but we'll be doing some fundraising and some charity work. Yeah,
I will be going on to Combat Radio this week to actually announce the Peace Fun Games that we're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, it is fantastic. It's really kind of gathering steam. I just don't have time to turn around at the moment.
Speaking of the Peace Fun Games, I feel like I just saw you because I did at a screening at CAA last night.
That's correct. Yeah,
our mutual friend Spartacus director TJ Scott, who did Death Valley. We saw each other along with Mark Ryan, the big robot from Transformers. That's all anyone was talking about there was the Peace Fun Games, paintball and paintball for a cause. So this is going to be an epic event. I mean, everyone at this after party at Craft, it wasn't even about Craft. It was, to some extent about the film, but everyone was excited about what the future brings. So it's Peace Fun, Peace Fun, Peace Fun. And you can get us on Twitter about it. We'll answer your calls. You can be part of the 60,000 plus that follow me on Twitter, and you can we'll answer all your questions and get you signed up. We'll direct you to the right people.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. It should, it's going to be in November, so you've got plenty of time to plan, to get a hotel, to get you. Come for one day, come for both days. We're going to have celebrities, prizes, and different games for people to do, a trade show. It's going to be, like a mini convention for paintball. It'll be kind of fun.
And I think we've got some of our friends that have been veterans of the show involved. Kevin Sorbo,
Kevin Sorbo's coming in, yeah. We've got... last night, Max Ryan. This is what I really find very fun. We've got Mark Ryan and Max Ryan,
who are not related.
Although they come from England, both come from England.
They both come from England. They both work in the movies.
Yeah, they both looked at each other, going, "Are we related?"
Yeah, that's so funny how you even ask that. It's like like they're the only Ryans.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
It was fun at that screening, and it was interesting to see people talk not only about this event but reconnect about the possibilities. And I think honestly, as we get closer to the Peace Fun Games, we're going to see some serious intensity pick up.
Yeah, and of course we also have Kerry Keegan, who's going to be the other general on the second day. That will be the mass play, so anybody can play in the Peace Fun Games. Absolutely, anybody can play.
Are you a general?
Yes, I'm one of the other generals. And
so you give yourself the rank of general, huh?
Well, I didn't give myself. I had to be because it is the Peace Fun Games and the Peace Fun type of thing.
I think I told you last night over cocktails that that rank of general just doesn't suit me. If you ask anyone at Warner Brothers, my nickname is Staff Sergeant Barnes, and it's not a compliment. It's named. It's a nickname from the psychotic role in Platoon.
Other colonels. We got Greg Hastings, legend of paintballs. We're going to have major paintballers actually assisting the generals, and there will be captains and corporals and blah going through the games, and it'll be celebrities can go and do little missions that they can actually garner money for. People could.
So is there going to be like a fun tent,
day? Yeah, there's going to be all of that type of stuff. It's going to be, it's a big event.
I ran an idea about that I think you laughed at last night, where why don't I just approach this as like being some in-bed Tet Offensive Vietnam era like war reporter, like running through the streets.
I think that'd be so funny.
Like Walter Cronkite covering the attack on the U.S. Embassy.
Yeah, well, either that, because obviously if you do that during the paintball, you might get splattered a few times.
Probably, but that's what every combat reporter was. I can get interviews from both sides. I can get like...
How's it going for you right now?
And
how is it right now? You're going to be dying. It's going to be hot. It's going to be running around a big field with a lot of players with 4,000 people on each side.
But I think that's what the event needs. I think it needs some genuine journalism. Let's bring back the art of war reporting.
That would be kind of fun, actually. It'd be really fun, actually. We'll do it live because we are doing live streaming as well. We're working on live streaming so that you can actually view the event live out there as well as participate and make sure that there is some sort of effect that you can actually have on the game. So if a celebrity is getting in trouble or one of your favorites are getting in trouble, you can donate to bring in like a grenade or bring in an airstrike to actually clear the field. So all those fun things.
What about paint landmines? Is there some way
there are those things as well? Those are those things as well. So we're going to be
steps they get covered.
We're going to be sort of putting a lot of that stuff in there and. And we're formulating all those things. But those will be all on the website as we develop the website over the next 4 months to let you know exactly what's going on. It's kind of a big time for the Peace Fund. We've got a poker tournament coming up very shortly. We've got some amazing guests. A lot of the celebrities I'm going to be bringing in. We've got, as I said, Kevin Sorbo and Mark Ryan. We've got Kerry Keegan. We've got a lot of people coming in, and I'm going to be bringing them on to the Peace Fund Radio to actually discuss what their charity is going to be that they're going to be actually fighting for. So you'll be able to hear that here over the next coming months.
I'm fighting for freedom.
You're fighting for the freedom to say something.
I already have
you already
that.
Have
I already
that.
take
Okay,
that.
Good.
I won that battle years ago.
Yeah, a long
friend.
time ago. Yeah, I know.
But I'm fighting for freedom, the American way of life, and the ability for the American way of life to take over other ways of life in the name of America.
Okay, well, let's talk about freedom just for a second, because I want to talk about child development and education, which is based on freedom, pretty much. Most school districts are severely underfunded, and with more and more funds being funneled to No Child Left Behind remediation, arts funding has suffered greatly. As an example, in the past few years, only 83 cents per child per year, 83 cents per child per year was allocated in the school district of Philadelphia for art-making supplies. In recent years, school curricula in the United States has shifted heavily toward the common core subjects of reading and math. But what about arts? I mean, did you have arts when you... we've got John Beerley online, so I want to bring John Beerley in on this conversation.
Here.
Are you there, John?
Yes, good morning.
Hello, John. Hello.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
I kind of sprung it on you very quickly this morning, John.
That's quite all right. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
You're a writer. Obviously you're part of the art. Did you have a lot of arts growing up when you were a kid?
We had a ton. I've mentioned on the show before that I grew up and actually still live in a very small town in Indiana. And I was... looking back, I'm really amazed by the amount of access that we had to art education growing up. I mean, even in as early as kindergarten, we had part of your day was dedicated to art class. Part of it was dedicated to music. We had music going all through elementary school. I didn't play any instruments in the high school band when I got to high school, but many of my friends did. They had a very active musical program. They recorded a jazz album, which was really cool. And going into high school, remember our art teacher was Gina Wenger. She was just absolutely awesome. She challenged us to break out of our comfort levels of what our skills and strengths were, and pushed us to try different things and be better. And I really enjoyed being in her class. It was great.
Tell me you had a crush on her, John.
She looked like Elizabeth Shue. She was awesome.
You see, I knew it. I had a crush on my biology teacher when I was about 14, I think. What about you, Ethan? Did you your arts? Did you do a lot of arts in school? Did you have ability to do that?
I had art. I had an art appreciation class too in elementary school, and I went on. Oddly enough, I had to take art in. I was an art model in high school. I know that's laughable now to look at me, but I also took an art class in night school for high school credit, and that was the same teacher, turned out, from my elementary school, oddly enough. So I had basically the same art teacher for the first 12 years of my education. And I paint all the time. I actually have my own online art gallery. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't
Lord
know
Edgware
that.
collection. Yeah,
I didn't know that. You're gonna have to spread that around.
You don't really brag about it, but I paint all the time, and it's not because I don't know if the connection was because of the teaching or what, but I did have art appreciation, and it's recommended.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that a lot of people regard art education as a luxury, but it's a creative building block of a child's development. They learn to create and appreciate visual aesthetics. It may be even more important today as the next generation of kids grow up. It actually says here, and I'm looking at this, that it helps motor skills because of the motions involved in making art, such as holding the paintbrush, like you said, Ethan, and scribbling with a crayon. Or it's basic on the essentials of the growth of fine motor skills in young kids. According to the National Institutes of Health, developmental milestones around age 3 should include drawing a circle and beginning to use safety scissors. Around age 4, children may be able to draw a square and begin cutting straight lines with scissors. Many preschool programs emphasize the use of scissors because it develops the dexterity children will need for writing. And here we go into this. Writing compared to iPad or computer or whatever. How many times, we discussed this once before, this is something that is now leaving some of the schools' curriculums, the ability to write your own name or sign stuff. That is actually disappearing, which is such a shame. I don't know how you're going to do it eventually. I don't know, because that affects so many other things.
Well, we don't really know what art affects actually in its entirety. We don't know how that builds. We have some ideas, but who knows how, a passion for art or some sort of artwork at a young age, who knows how that develops the mind.
Well, the thing is, and this goes down to different kids. Different kids are different. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, that statement, but anyway.
Sounds like a Sesame Street song to me. Different kids are different.
Different kids are different. What I meant was, kids are different in what they go towards, that they are drawn towards. My daughter is more art. She's socially not as comfortable with younger kids her age, whereas with adults she is. Art and something is a way to actually bring them together, and therefore she is much more. You've got to really gear your child to what they feel they want to do, and that's why I'm very, impassionate about the parents that push their kids into the heroes of the week who we have, who say, no, I want to do this. I want to make paper mache origami sets that one girl we had a few weeks ago, or I want to do something for them, because the parents are pushing them into something that they want to do.
It's a form of communication and therapy, I think. I think you do communicate through your artwork.
Yes, I think you do.
You tell stories through it. You give your personality through it, your point of view through it.
Well, the thing they're talking about, it also helps language development, because just talking about it provides opportunities to learn words for colours, shapes, and actions. And when a toddler's as young as a year old, parents can do simple activities as crumpling up paper and calling it a ball, so they can figure it out. So all this stuff, it is art. It's not, it's not science. It's not mathematics. It really is something else that is a developmental tool. What do you think, John? What's your feeling on this?
Well, you had mentioned origami as an example. We had two little girls, Catherine and Isabel Adams, 10 and 7 years old, who were taught the art of origami by their father. Now, origami is this very complicated paper folding art where you make animals or little shapes and designs with nothing but folds of paper. There's no glue, there's no tape. It's all made with just different folds of the paper. And those girls have raised more than $350,000 for various children's causes, including building wells in India, just by being introduced to this art form by one of their parents and being urged to explore it, and they turned it into this incredible charity organization. And they've also made a DVD, an instructional DVD, where they show kids how to make these origami shapes. And they're like, hey kids, if you have a cause or something you believe in, here's how we did it, you can do it too. And I love that. I love the creativity, and that's what I think art does. When you think about all of Ethan mentioned iPads and things like that earlier, those things are incredible tools. But I think we need to make sure they don't become crutches and they don't replace the imagination and the creativity that come from art. That's where we need to, I guess, try to draw the line between, it's okay to use those things as tools, but let's not let them be crutches, and certainly let's not let those things replace that creativity and imagination that's inside everybody, just waiting to be unlocked.
Ethan, don't you think that society basically is improved when you actually have kids doing that, because it actually helps their inventiveness as they grow older as adults, which basically goes back to the domino effect we're always talking about on the show here, because inventive people seek new ways and improvements for our lives. So as you get older, it actually art's a way to encourage that process and to experience the thinking of making things better.
Well, if you're going to talk about art as a triggering mechanism for inventiveness, you're absolutely right, and that in itself is an argument to keep it in schools, which reality.
Well, there you go. That went back down to my initial statement about 83 cents per child per year is allocated to the School District of Philadelphia for art making supplies.
83 cents a year per child?
Yes, 83 cents per year per child. So, I mean, that's not an allocation. We had the School Makes a Difference program, which was one of the programs I would like to bring back later next year. And that basically was one of the things we had. Was art was one of the things that we actually gave kids in schools to help them really sort of make those type of inventive, creative, or push that creative side of them. It's art does things. I mean, they call people an artist, and what is an artist? Okay, what is an artist? Does an artist paint with one color? No.
An artist could paint with one color.
Then
but that would be the creative.
But it wouldn't be as creative. An artist creates with several colors. A martial artist creates with several styles. A child who is an artist must create with different forms in their life, whether it is mathematics, whether it is inventiveness, whether it is passion, whatever that's part of their artistry, if you like. Improved academic and performance. Studies show that there's a correlation between art and other achievement. A report by Americans for the Arts states that young people who participate regularly in the arts, 3 hours a day on 3 days of the week through 1 full year, are 4 times more likely to be recognized for academic achievement, to participate in math and science fair, or to win an award for writing an essay or poem than children who do not participate. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So I would fight for your kids in your schools to do something of that nature, or if they want to do it, don't say no to them.
Well, I think that's a real solution, is not saying no to your kids and encouraging your kids individually as parents or as big brothers or whatever your role in a child's life may be. I think we're going to need a little bit more of a hard-hitting strategy to try and keep schools to keep it and figure out how to. That's in itself is going to be an artistic drive of inventiveness just to figure out what to do in cities like Philadelphia or Detroit or wherever we can inspire people with art and encourage people to keep it. That's going to take some creativity.
The other thing is, I mean, John, I know you don't have a kid, but I know, Ethan, you do. And I know when my kid comes home and she's drawn something, the key thing to this is, and this helps self-esteem as well, is when your kid comes home and gives you that little drawing she's drawn, which might be a stick figure and something.
Huge.
It's huge for you to acknowledge it, to actually acknowledge that they've done a great job and to encourage them to do more.
Well, I don't have any children of my own, but all of my friends, most of my friends have kids, so I get to be Uncle John to some really incredible kids like Oliver and Sebastian and Cecilia. Just really fun little, just great kids, very creative kids. And Ollie and I sometimes will take chalk outside and draw airplanes and things on the sidewalk. Adrian, my friend and my writing partner Kevin Rice, he has 2 small kids, Isaac and Morgan, and we always draw Star Wars characters on with chalk on the sidewalk, and the kids love it. They love sharing in that process, and they love creating something, and it's just awesome to see their faces light up when they draw something and you tell them that it was a good job, and you help show them how to draw something that's maybe a little bit more complicated. And it's just great to see their eyes light up and know that, hey, I can do that too. Now I'm going to try to draw my own thing from scratch, and to watch how it just gets better and better every time they do it. It's exciting to watch, and I think it's great. It makes kids more aware. I think that's the cool thing about art, is that if you're creative, then that bolsters your imagination, and I think you just see the world around you in a more complete way, and you can find, I think it makes you a better problem solver too, because if you look at things from a creative angle, you start to think about things from different angles and think about things in different ways, and then before you know it, you've worked out a solution to something, and it's vital. I think all too often you hear an emphasis put on test scores in education. Well, I think that if we are teaching kids arts and putting emphasis on creativity and imagination, you're going to see improvements across the board.
The interesting thing is it also affects the parents, as I just witnessed about 2 minutes ago when Ethan put up in front of me a picture. I believe it was of your daughter did something.
It is. It's a screensaver on my phone.
There you go. And the pride I saw in Ethan's face was tangible. It was because it really does. When you see that your child has grown creatively, that they're thinking themselves, that they're creating something themselves, it gives you, some great hope that they're going to be able to do great things with their life and that they're comfortable in who they are.
Well, I'll tell you, this not only means a lot because it's a work of art my kid did for me, and it's my image. He drew me actually sitting across the table from her. But on the
Can
top,
I see that again?
Yeah,
Can I see that again?
We should post it actually.
Well,
yes, please.
I like the hair.
Yeah.
He's got yellow hair.
I do have yellow hair,
and he's got a very slim combat T-shirt, radio T-shirt on.
That part's exaggerated, but it is it is subject to your own personal devices.
Are you holding a phone in that?
I am not holding a phone, but it does say across the top, "My best friend."
Oh, you see
That's
that?
awesome.
That's what my daughter called me that this way. She said, "You're my best daddy." I said, "Honey, I'm your only daddy." So.
Hey, take it. Take that compliment.
But it is a brilliant rendition. It says Combat Radio across my T-shirt. And, it's just one of those things. I mean, it reminds you how special life is. And it reminds you, just this piece of art, for example, you get conflicted emotions looking at it because you realize how special things are. You realize how fleeting things are. And your heart goes out to those people that maybe don't have the ability to do this kind of thing or communicate their emotions and just the overall troubles we face each day.
Well, the interesting thing is, when you go out a lot of the time, you go to parks, etc., and you see kids and you see adults, and they cannot communicate to you.
Right.
There is no communication coming from them. Maybe because when they were younger, they didn't have that. They were not instilled with the pride or the ability to create, and therefore allow their self-esteem to be able to be. To grow, because the arts do boost self-esteem. It builds self-respect by helping them to accept criticism and praise from other people. I mean, arts instill pride. When your child puts his or her heart and soul into an art project, and spends hours working on it, cultivating it, and making it beautifully, they'll feel an enormous sense of accomplishment when it's completed. I look at my daughter's face when she comes in. I know your daughter probably did the same, Ethan, just like, have a look, Daddy, have a look, and children not only becoming appreciators of each other's work, but also develop skills of self-reflection. So I think it's a very important aspect. I've always been very high on the arts portion of us too.
I think we need to do a Peace Fund radio art show. I think we need to do that. I think we should have kids in the school district in Los Angeles contribute a piece of art, and we should rack it for a public cause.
Do you know, somebody was talking to me last night when I was actually talking to about Facebook, etc., and somebody a friend of mine, Lily Bogdan, who's actually an actress, she said, they did a test on Facebook when they try to manipulate people's feelings. And by manipulating people's feelings, they were able to put bad posts on there, and they realized that people started becoming less appreciative, and they started reacting with bad posts. They then did the same with good posts, and people then, their self-respect, and they were able to post more. When they had bad posts put on there, people didn't want to communicate. So this goes out to the emotional outlet that art allows you to do, because that is another part of self-expression. The self-expression of being positive self-expression creates your life in society around you. So right. I think, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that thing they did with the Facebook is really a reflection of this as well. I think it's really interesting, that you post more when you actually see good posts on somebody's Facebook page. It is endless what we've got here. Let's talk about. I know, John, this morning there are so many other things I could talk about this right now. I mean, I actually want to. Before we go into the organisations that we're talking about, the heroes of the week, I want to talk about some organisations that actually are out there that you can look at, everybody can look at, who are making a difference. www.freshartist.org. Fresh Artists is their mission is to promote access for all children to transformative self-expression of art making and philanthropy. They do this by taking kids as full partners in philanthropy, by widely exhibiting the artwork that they've done in visible places, and providing art supplies and innovative art programs to children in severely under-resourced public schools. They also have a pilot program, if you want to have a look at that on their website, called Fresh Artists Clothesline Art Sales. It's a grassroots program encouraging child-based philanthropy and creativity where any child or groups of children can make art, hold a simple clothesline art sale in their backyard, school or scout troop, and donate the money raised to Fresh Artists who will purchase and deliver art supplies to needy school in their name. So, great organisation. Check them out. Another organisation out there is the International Child Art Foundation, www.icaf.org. They've served since 1997 as the National Arts and Creativity Organisation for American Children and the International Arts and Creativity Organisation for the World's Children. Their mission? To enhance academic performance. We talked about this before. And imbue global citizenship by nurturing children's creativity and developing their empathy, key attributes of a 21st century learner and leaders. They train teachers and provide them with structured lesson plans to, one, cultivate children's healthy living habits. I'm reading this off their website. And giving them imagination and creative critical thinking. The other thing is they reduce violence in conflict zones by restoring young people's trust in humanity with peace through art programs, and they remediate suffering through major national disasters by restoring the affected community's faith in nature with healing art programs. See how important art is in so many different aspects of our lives. And so I think, check out those organizations, and you can find out what they're doing in your area. If you believe that your child or your children in your area, the schools in your area, are not able to give your children the art that they deserve. I know that, my daughter, and my son, they need outlets. I mean, I was at my gymnastics class for my daughter yesterday. She loves that. She likes that expression. So we're going to encourage her to do it. And I was listening to another mother there saying, my son bounces off the walls. I have him here every week. So the fact is, a lot of you have to take your kids somewhere. So there are organizations that allow you to do it without actually having to pay very much for it. Or you could actually make a difference by helping your schools in your area or other kids in your area by joining some of these programs. John, Hero of the Week. I think it is time to bring the Hero of the Week to the forefront.
Let's have some heroes.
Yes. Well, for all of our new listeners out there, we have a weekly segment called Hero of the Week, in which we find a young person who has done something incredible for other young people. And before I get to today's Hero of the Week, who fits right in with today's topic, I wanted to give a couple of quick updates about some of the recent accomplishments by some of our previous heroes. Annalise Carr was our very first Peace Fund Radio Hero of the Week. We've told her story on the show. We've had Annalise on the show a couple of times to talk about what she's up to. In August of 2012, she swam 32 miles across Lake Ontario, broke a world record, raised over $200,000 for Camp Trillium, which supports children with cancer and their families. On July 25th of this year, just a few weeks away, she's going to attempt a world record 75-kilometer crossing. It's 46 miles of Lake Erie.
I couldn't even do a mile, dude.
It's crazy. Her fundraising goal is once again to hit $200,000 for awareness and families of children with cancer. She is currently sitting at $94,000 of that $200,000 goal as she goes here into the home stretch. And just a couple of weeks ago, she came in second place in a 36-mile race at the Extreme North Dakota Water Endurance Test. She came in second place in the women's division, 36 miles that she finished in 9 hours and 31 minutes. If you go to her website, annalisecarr.com, that's ANNALEISECARR.com, you can read her blog and see some of her photos from that extremely harrowing and awesome swim. Plus, you can find information on her book, How I Conquered Lake Ontario to Help Kids Battling Cancer, which is an incredible book, by the way. Everybody should read it. It's very inspiring. She intercuts stories about her swim across Lake Ontario with vignettes about some of the children that she's met and helped through all of her journeys. It's an incredible book. It's very inspiring. Check it out, and the proceeds are also going to go to Camp Trillium to support those families. with children who are suffering from cancer. It's incredible.
Genius.
And also, speaking of genius, our old friend Jack Andraka. Now, Jack, as you guys will remember, was a teenager who came up with an idea for how to test for pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, that was an awesome story, that was.
This story is incredible. He sends his idea, and he doesn't, now keep in mind, he doesn't just send his idea. He sends a complete budget, a complete blueprints, and everything, and it's completely prepared. He sends his outline and his information to 199 scientists. Some of the scientists he sends it to just flat out ignored him. Some of them came back and said, this is the dumbest idea we've ever heard. There is no way in the world that this is going to work. Finally, he gets a response from Dr. Anirban Mitra, professor of pathology and oncology and chemical biomolecular engineering at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, who says, you know what, Jack? I don't know if your idea will work, but I believe that you believe it will work, so I'm going to give you some laboratory space. And Jack went to work, and he developed his cancer test, which is 168 times faster, 26,000 times cheaper, and 400 times more sensitive than the current diagnostic tests. It takes 5 minutes to run. And because it operates off of finding a specific protein, a mesothelin biomarker, that is common between ovarian cancer, lung cancer, and pancreatic cancer, they're going to be able to start using this method to detect other cancers. Jack is currently talking to a couple of large medical companies. He's being very careful in his selective process of how he moves forward this to make sure that it's in the best hands and helps the most people. Anyway, Jack recently won the $50,000 first prize among high school entrants in the Siemens We Can Change the World Challenge. He invented with his lab partner Chloe Diggs a credit card-sized biosensor that can detect multiple contaminants in water. This is a test that takes $1 to produce, takes 20 minutes to run, 200,000 times cheaper, 25 times more efficient than current sensors that are used to detect contaminants in water. In addition to this, he's also invented a device that this is so crazy. It can detect cancer and explosives because of it's a laser that can basically you shoot this laser at a sample and it tells the exact chemical composition of something. So this is something that Jack invented. It costs $15 to produce. The closest thing in existence to this costs $40,000 for the laser alone. So he's got a $15 model that can create this spectrometer to do this. So this guy is just inventing things like crazy. I'm serious. One of these days we're going to be recording the show and the phone is going to ring. And Ethan is going to say, hello, you're on Peace Fund Radio. And it's going to be Jack calling from the year 1776 because he's invented a time machine and he's testing it out on us. It's going to be great. So
let's hope he can make that time machine because he can fix a lot of the crazy problems that stem from 1776.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So yeah, here we go. So we've got, again, Annalise and Jack, two incredible young people of the mini heroes of the week that we have talked about on the show before. And that brings us to today's hero of the week, who fits in, again, as I said before, with today's topic. Alec Urbach. He is 18 years old. Since today's topic is art therapy and education, we thought we'd find somebody who uses art as education. Now, back in 2009, Alec founded a 501c3 organization called Giving from the Ground Up, or GFGU, which you can read about at fromgroundup.org. Now, through its subsidiary, which is called Alec's Animated Schoolhouse, Alec animates and edits his own educational films that act as lessons in math, science, and hygiene, along with cartoon workbooks for elementary school kids that have been distributed around the world. According to Alec, he says, film presents a narrative, unfolds a story that can inspire and teach, and we are all hardwired to love a good story. He further explains, we tend to think that one size fits all in our educational process. However, for each student who learns something the traditional way, there are those who learn it differently. We, as educational innovators and serial deconstructors, need to provide tools to help kids become. Teach them the parts, they'll create the whole. I find that if we put the printed word in front of children who do not have strong language skills, they may have a hard time with it, but film and cartoons break down or deconstruct the concept and teach without us really feeling the medicine go down. The stars of my animated Schoolhouse are funny, lovable creatures that are accessible to every child. And you can see samples of those characters, the comics, the videos on his website, FromGroundUp.org. Now, in addition to the animated films and cartoon workbooks that he has created, he has also written a series of socially conscious comic books called Worldwise Comics. These comic books teach ethics and lessons about important issues that face children all around the world. Bullying, the importance of clean water, not bowing to negative peer pressure, respecting animals, respecting the environment, respecting yourself. I talked to Alec yesterday. He's going to be coming on the show soon. He's very busy at the moment interning. He's a student at Princeton. He's got all kinds of things going on, but I believe sometime in August he's going to come on to give us some latest updates about what he's up to. He told me that his comic books are currently being translated into Spanish, French, and Arabic, and he's getting ready to line up a Russian translator. He's also looking for new translators. So if you know of anyone, feel free to contact him at info@fromgroundup.org if you think you can help him.
So, John, what's the impact that Alec's cartoons and comics have reached this far?
250,000 children in South America and Africa have been taught with these cartoons and comic books.
Wow.
He's currently working on bringing those to the United States. And there's even more. In addition to his comics and cartoons that he's distributed, he also raised enough money to fund the building of the first science elementary school in an African village. They recently built another, and he also funded an additional $20,000 worth of clean water wells in those villages, so that the students of the school have access to fresh water and therefore hygiene and health for the first time in their lives. And in addition to that, they've delivered more than 240,000 medical, hygiene, dental, and school supplies to children in Ghana and their families who have never had access to this kind of material before.
Yeah, he's got some awards too that I've just noticed, doesn't he? He's getting
big time.
He's getting a lot of stuff.
As many of our heroes of the week have been, he was one of the 2012 3.Dash Summit Global Teen Leaders. If you go to 3.dash.org, you can read about some of the incredible kids. And it made me really happy when we learned about this summit, because as we looked through the list of the kids who were invited to this summit, which is held every year in New York, we saw the names of many of the kids who are Peace Fund Radio Heroes of the Week in the past, and it just makes me excited to see that these kids are constantly doing new things and that their actions and accomplishments are being discovered in new ways. He received the Presidential Service Award, the National AXA Academic Scholarship, the Prudential Spirit of Community Award, recently made the list for the 25 most powerful and influential people in the world by Youth Service America. And he's currently a sophomore at Princeton University, and this January he will speak at the Pangea Starting Point Conference in Madrid on the topic of disruption through collaboration, the art of entrepreneurship for a new generation. This talk will focus on branding and marketing for 20-somethings who are looking to start their own social enterprises. Awesome.
I'm glad you brought Alex to the attention, because it really focuses on what we've been talking about today, John, about, taking art and growing your life and other people's lives with it. I mean, the accomplishment he's gone, it's not just about creating art, it's about teaching people how to bring clean water wells to students for the first time in their lives. I mean, stuff like that is the domino effect that we're always talking about, that is cultivating something else.
Yeah, we found a really cool article on nymetroparents.com about Alec, and he talks about in the article about one of the reasons he's been able to do all this is, again, that he had a very supportive family. And in fact, I'm not even going to mention the things that his brother has done, because his brother Jordan is going to be a future Peace Run Radio Hero of the Week. You won't believe what his brother's done. But he talks about how, he says, my family taught us that we all possess tools to create positive change. And he goes on to say that because of what he learned from his parents, because of what he learned from his brother's example and some of the philanthropic things that his brother has done, he says that every young person has a voice. And once that voice is found and activated, a piece of the world can be healed. And he further goes on to say, I believe that specializing at an early age in science education will birth a new generation of healers and investigative thinkers with the skills to overcome the poverty and conflict of their regions. This, he said that when he was 15 years old.
Yeah, well, this goes back to what we were saying before about how it actually helps the developmental skills of a child. I mean, a lot of it, for those of you out there, and we talked about a child having self-esteem, it boosts their self-esteem and it allows an emotional outlet. But there also, how does art help struggling learners? And this is across the board. There is an author called Beth Olshansky, who is the author of Power of the Pictures, Creating Pathways to Literacy Through Art. She believes that, she noticed that with the help of a paintbrush, her daughter was able to access and express imaginative ideas and descriptive language that were otherwise not available to her. So she was so intrigued by what she saw that she founded a program called Picturing Writing, to provide struggling learners with artistic means to become stronger readers. And neurologist Sam Wang and Sandra Amott emphasize in their book, Welcome to Your Child's Brain, that struggling kids may benefit from arts education and that art classes can help children develop impulse control, resulting in better behavior in other classes and higher academic achievement. Now, what happens? How do you as a parent deal with reluctance writing, for instance? If your child shows anxiety when they're facing a blank page, you've got to give them a chance to build something, to dance, make music, create a collage or draw a picture. Engaging in concrete and visually and rich experiences will stimulate language development and support his or her ability to express his ideas with words. The other thing is communicating with teachers, which is very, very important. When your kid's in school, they've got to be able to communicate with everybody else around them. You might need to be your child's advocate if her teacher does not yet understand the relationship between the arts and learning. Explain to the teacher that artistic projects can help make your child's thinking much more visible to others. It'll assist her memory and lead to more success in the school. And the last thing, which is so important in kids, is talk to your child about his or her strengths. So often, children whose abilities lie in the visual, spatial, kinesthetic realms believe themselves to be less intelligent than their peers, especially in school culture with so much standardized testing. The most important lifeline your child can have is the understanding that being artistic is a way of being smart. And our hero of the week basically showed that this morning, Alex. You are the hero of the week here because that is exactly what has happened, I believe, in your life. So congratulations and thank you for doing what you do. John, I think, there's got to be more stuff. I mean, we could talk about this again all day, and we've got 5 minutes left on the show to finalise, but... What else is there that you have for me this morning, John? Before I start.
Well, to quickly just follow up on Alec, he all the characters he created himself, all the characters in his videos, he does all the animation himself. It's just really impressive, and I think it just goes to show that anybody can do anything if you believe in yourself and you put your mind to it and you do the work and you follow through, you can get there. To find out about, as always, all the great things that the Peace Fund is up to, our website is thepeacefund.org. You can follow our hosts, Adrian at Adrian Paul 1, Ethan at Combat Radio. Ethan is constantly doing incredible philanthropic things and great entertainment and philanthropy from that guy. So please follow Adrian and Ethan both. Follow us at the Peace Fund, The Peace Fund, and Peace Fund Radio. 2 separate accounts on Facebook and Twitter. The Peace Fund and Peace Fund Radio to find out all the things that we're up to. And believe me, there are a lot.
Yeah, follow us.
A lot of big things coming up.
We're fun. And we're even more fun online. I just tweeted Adrian. You can get in the middle of the argument
God.
on Twitter.
Let me see what this argument's about.
I just said I was doing the show with you. The real blast will come later when we decide to pick on you. I'll be tweeting you during the Argentina game.
When you decide to pick on me, why would you ever think of picking on me?
Well, I know I'm villainized on the show because I say my side of what goes on around here off air, where you are doing most of the picking. See, but of course, you being a smart actor you subtly downplay it on air and be like, why am I being bullied by this guy? I have no idea.
Is that another topic we should be talking about? Bullying, because we have talked about it before.
Well, I mean bullying actually. Probably not in the same sense, but thank you for the correction. But in all reality, I think you dish it out pretty hard off air. It just for some reason I get trapped on air speaking my mind. But
I'm smarter than you are, therefore, aren't I?
Well, more on that later, whether or not that's true or not. But I want to say a quick happy birthday to Jerry Sainer. He's the dad of Combat Radio associate producer Tyson Sainer, who's done a lot of work for us and a lot of social media.
Yes, he retweets us like crazy every week.
Yeah, very, very a first-class individual and a first-class son. Jerry should be proud of Tyson. He is a symbol to a lot of us, and in terms of what arts, culture, and creativity should really be about. We like him very much. Happy birthday to him. You can catch us again real quick Sunday, noon. Facebook us at Combat Radio. If you want to get in on the World Cup final bash, that's going to be rather epic and of gigantic proportions.
I think it'll be a lot of fun too. Also, as we said, Peace Fun Games, just for those of you that don't know, we are getting universities coming in to play these games from across the country. Collegiate teams that will be helping our celebrities go through the paintball obstacles of fame, if you like. It will be a fun, and I'm looking forward to talking to some of these universities. One of them has offered to have the Peace Fund as their charity when they go out and raise money, which I thank them very, very much. I believe I don't want to say which one it is because I don't have the information in front of me, but I'll be announcing that again next week. I think we're about out of time, pretty much. Wouldn't you say, Ethan?
Yeah.
Yeah. John, thank you for coming on this week, and I hope.
Thank you, Adrian and Ethan.
I hope you get that person that's going to help you with some more stuff on the Heroes of the Week. Make sure you check them out, John. Got to get you as happy as a camper.
I'm pretty happy. I get to be on the show every week with you guys and tell the stories of these amazing kids. I still can't believe I get to do this. I cannot believe it.
Well, thank you for bringing it to us, John. And thank you to all of you out there that have listened to the show. Spread the word, what the Peace Fund is trying to do, what we are going to be doing with the Peace Fund Games. Retweet us, tweet us, talk to your friends and family about us. And Ethan, thank you for bringing us. And all of you at the Peace Fund who helped to make this organization so fun to work with. Thank you for your hard work that runs from web designers, developers to social media people, to all of you that are in different key positions, project managers, etc. We are going to have a lot of work ahead of us, but you are making a great difference, and I thank you for that. So thank you for the rest of you for coming and listening, and we will join you again next week.
You're listening to Peace Fund Radio with Adrian Paul and Ethan Dettenmaier, right here on LA Talk Radio.